Welcome to the World United.
Welcome to the World United.
And we are now on to Jennifer Dayley. Jennifer, can you unmute yourself, please, so that we can hear what you have to say?
Hi.
And I will give you a brief introduction, since that was part of my role and what I was asked to do here. Jennifer is a modern pioneer in bringing health back to nature and nature back to health. Interesting dynamic going on here. So your topic is nourished and non-toxic. Go for it. Looking forward to hearing what you have to teach us.
Yeah, so I have been on this whole journey, really my whole life, haven't we all? But especially since about 2007. And I'm an author. I'm a teacher of nutrition, natural health, and energy medicine. And I've been able to work with the most wonderful clients and students and witness them be able to learn the things that I've learned and to not only begin the journey of healing themselves, but when we get onto that journey, we also just naturally contribute to healing the world, because what we put out affects everyone. And so first off, I just want to say how grateful I am to have been invited to this this festival. It's been really great what I've seen of it. And I actually grappled with whether I should do a slide presentation or just sit here and talk to you, because I really like to be face-to-face and talk. But I do want to share some really powerful visuals. And so I did decide to go ahead and do this slide presentation a little bit. But before I do that, I just want to say, and I'm sure we're all aware of this, just because of the very nature of this festival, I am going to be sharing in the beginning some photos of me and telling my story, but this is not about me at all. This is about all of us. And I probably am preaching to the choir on that, but I just wanted to plug in that little thing. So let me go here to, okay. And we're gonna slide this down to the screen there. Okay, so we usually make major changes in our life for one of two reasons: desperation or inspiration. And for me, it was actually both. My journey began, like I said, in about 2007, and that was the beginning. I was 50 pounds overweight. This is me. I was on 14 different Western medicine pharma medications over the course of about 18 years. Not all at the same time, but they would give me medications and then I'd have side effects. So they'd give me more medications for the side effects, plus trying to just heal the different things that were wrong with me. I had about 21 different health issues. Just a few of them: depression, anxiety, insomnia, OCD, chronic fatigue, hormonal issues, really bad acid reflux, just all kinds of things going on. And it was miserable. I've had 19 bowel obstructions in my adulthood, and that's included 2 surgeries. So that's been interesting. I was pretty much just flat out miserable, and I was searching for answers, but not searching in the right places. I had a little bit of an upbringing with parents who introduced me to, like, my mom was all about healthy foods, whole wheat. She made her own whole wheat bread and used raw honey. And we hardly ever had, like, sugar cereals were a thing that we got for Christmas, a once a year thing. And my father, as I got older, used a little bit of like herbs and homeopathics, but I thought it was just weird and I didn't even care. And so I really didn't know much about that stuff, but at least the seeds had been planted. And so when it came back into my life, I recognized it. I recognized the truth of it. And as I was growing up, even though we did these holistic practices, I still, like we went to the doctor, you know, we did all that normal stuff that all the other families do. So in this misery, especially in my adult years, after I started having children and gaining weight and having all these health issues, I went to doctors, they did tests, couldn't find anything wrong with me, you know, tests come back fairly normal, but I kept going on the medications and they had no answers. You know, they were wonderful, great, kind doctors who wanted to help, but they didn't know how. And eventually I got very desperate. Back several years ago, in the beginning of all of this, so we lived up in Idaho, and I've struggled with depression for years and years, but I've never been like a suicidal person. But this one day I was out at the edge of the Snake River Canyon, and I don't know if you guys know anything about the Snake River Canyon. It's about a 500-foot drop. It's very miles long. Evel Knievel jumped, you know, motorcycles over everything. It's huge, but it's beautiful. And I stood out there this one day, just out of answers. And I was looking down this 500-foot drop, and it really kind of freaked me out for a minute, because I all of a sudden had this thought, you could end it now. You're miserable. You could be done. Who cares? And that was the first time and the only time that I've ever had that experience of wanting to just be done. I'd had enough. It was a beautiful blue, clear day, just like it is here today. And I just looked up in the sky and I spoke to God, and I just said, Heavenly Father, if you want me to do what you sent me to this earth to do, you have to take over. I'm done. I have no answers. The doctors have no answers. I don't know where to go from here. And it was like in that moment, I just like let it go. I said, I'm done. And a picture of my family immediately came to my mind, and I saw my husband and I saw my children, and I was like, this isn't just about me. I knew that this was affecting and was going to affect more than just me. And I prayed like I've never prayed before. And finally, God answered my prayer. And out of desperation came the inspiration. He inspired me, and I was ready to change. So over the next couple of years, I experienced a complete paradigm shift, and I changed literally everything. It was a process, took a little bit of time, but then I got to a point where I was just like, okay, here's the rest, and we're going to make all the changes. I changed nutrition, household and personal care products, my daily habits, and my healing practices. I shed those 50 pounds, and I started healing rather quickly. I got off all of the pharma meds, and the last medication that I was on, I had been on for years, and I tried to get off many times. I was able to get off in 5 months. And I took my family of 6 from 11 medications down to just 1. And that one medication is for an autoimmune issue, only used when needed. And we're really trying to work on that one as well. We haven't been to a doctor in over a decade, and everything that, if we do get sick or have issues, we treat it naturally at home. And it's been, some people are kind of, they get a little defensive and almost offended by that. But to me, it's empowering, and it's exciting to be able to do that. And so today I just want to share with you what I learned that shifted my perspective and why I feel like it's so important. Okay. So there is one disease. That's a new concept. There's not hundreds, there's not thousands, there's just one. And that one disease is chaos. Chaos at the atomic level, chaos at the molecular level, and chaos at the cellular level. It's a hard word to say, cellular. And there are 3 causes of that one disease, chaos. Toxicity, which poisons or invades your body and is generally caused by synthetics or chemicals, heavy metals, and parasites. Deficiency of vital nutrients, and imbalance, which means that your energy is out of balance, literally. And this is caused by thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and trauma, and electrical disturbances, electricity, electromagnetic fields. And it's no secret that between food, products, entertainment, and our environment, we live in a very, very toxic world. And as the world becomes more toxic, people unfortunately become more toxic. And then our bodies and our minds and our spirits don't function properly. Everything about us becomes suppressed when we're toxic. And this results in disconnect not only from ourselves and from others, but also a disconnect from God and spirituality. And like Benjamin said, we're spiritual and temporal beings, and we're on this earth having a human experience. So 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says, know ye not that our body is a temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, typo there, and ye are not your own, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. The human body is a temple, and when we don't treat it as such, it doesn't function as such. Physical and mental suppression equal spiritual suppression. So this is when things started really kind of hitting me, because I am a very spiritual person, and when I realized that there was that physical and spiritual, or that physical and mental connection to my spirituality, I realized, wow, this is more important than I thought. And when I was on those medications and eating toxic foods and using toxic products, I couldn't feel God and spiritual promptings like I normally would. The interesting thing was I didn't even realize it until after I came off the medications and started cleaning up my lifestyle and filling my body inside and out with things that were nourishing and were healthy. It was then that I started realizing how disconnected I was from God and from spirituality. I was able to feel emotions again. I was able to really cry and to be happy. I didn't realize how numb I was. It was like, whatever. In fact, I remember for years, I told my family, just when I die, like on my tombstone, my term was, just stick it in quotes as a funny thing, whatever, I died, whatever. And that was kind of my state, was just whatever, and finally, when these changes happened, it was like my whole world was full of color again. And it was great, hard things, I hate to say bad, hard things, troubling things, but also those beautiful, happy things and fulfilling things. And both sides are colorful. And so I realized that I had not been able to truly feel those emotions and to feel God and all of those spiritual things in my life, like since I was a teenager. There's a lot of corruption in most modern industries anymore. And the results are, which I'm sure that you guys are aware, we are really fighting a spiritual war right now. Years ago, a world religious leader, who's actually a family member down my husband's side, said something very profound. And it's one of my favorite quotes. Your body is the instrument of your mind. In your emotions, the spirit and body come closest to being one. What you learn spiritually depends to a degree on how you treat your body. Food is spiritual. Many religions implement food-based health codes in their teachings and practices, including Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Seventh-day Adventists, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we're going to go back in time for just a minute and look at some very interesting biblical connections to food. Adam and Eve first lived in a garden. The first test given to the very first people on earth, Adam and Eve, was the partaking of the fruit. Some of the first and very specific laws talked about in the Old Testament were dietary laws. When Christ introduced the sacrament, the physical symbol he used was food and drink. When Christ introduced the sacrament, the setting was the Last Supper. One of the most significant miracles performed in the Bible was feeding fish and bread to the 5,000. A physical substance most often used in healing throughout the scriptures is herbs, and I consider herbs a food, not a supplement. The term used to describe followers of Christ who bring other people to him was fishers of men. Daniel proved to the king that he would gain knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom by what? refusing the king's meat and wine, and instead eating the food that the Lord instructed him to eat. And finally, and I'm sure there's more, but for the sake of time, the meaning of the word Gethsemane, the place where Christ carried out the atonement, is olive press. So we can see how much significance there is, even in spiritual and scriptural history, to food. Okay, and then this is a scripture from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, says, "Yea, all things which come of the earth in the season thereof are made for the benefit and the use of man, both to please the eye and to gladden the heart. Yea, for food and for raiment, for taste and for smell, to strengthen the body and to enliven the soul." So not only are the things of the earth for our physical health, but also for our emotional and our spiritual well-being. One of my big wake-up moments was when I realized that this isn't just about me. This isn't just about you. This is about our posterity, our children and our grandchildren, and the future of our world. Everything is connected. All of us are connected. And what are we leaving? What are we passing on? What's the legacy that we want to leave? A lot of people believe that living healthy means deprivation. Oh, you can't have your sugar. Oh, you can't have your treats, your whatever. Well, I don't eat like regular, normal, refined sugar. I do sweeteners, whole sweeteners like raw honey and, those kinds of things. But living healthy doesn't mean deprivation. It means liberation. It sets us free. And as it sets us free, it's going to set our future posterity free. Using food and products that are non-toxic and learning how to use the things of the earth allows us to be in control of our lives and become self-reliant instead of industry reliant. And I think that if there's any time in the history of the earth for us to be able to take control of our lives and not rely on the industries, it would be right now. So again, living healthy does not mean deprivation, it means liberation. And I'm going to prove that to you. Some of you may know Sean Perry. He's actually the one that introduced me and invited me to this. And I wasn't even going to do this, you guys, but he let me know. He was like, "Hey, if you have, anything that you want to offer your audience or whatever." And so I did this last night. I created this specifically for this audience last night on my website. This cookie that you see right here is healthy. It has a filling of marshmallows, and people would look at that normally and go, "Oh, okay, can't have that." No, you actually can. It's filled with whole foods and it nourishes your body. And so this is my recipe. I created it several years ago, and I'm going to give you the information on how you can get the recipe for the cookie, which also doubles as a brownie. And you can make your own marshmallows, and it's free, completely free, the whole entire thing. And so I created the little booklet last night, but the fun part about it is in the little book, it also has the story of how this happened, and it's kind of fun to read. It was like this little phenomenon that happened. And then we also do have products that we make that are completely 100% non-toxic. Our favorite one is toothpaste, and we didn't expect it to do what it does. As far as like our audiences, we've actually got people who have like sensory disorders and autism and things like that, who normally have a hard time brushing their teeth and like textures and things like that, who have started loving this toothpaste. And that was really exciting for us because we're helping not only, people who just anybody in the world, but those that are really struggling with things like this as well, to be able to do it in a healthy way, and it tastes yummy. And so I created a discount code last night for 30% off if you guys want to try it. And so this is my online shop. So Mayraki by Nature is the name of the online shop, and Mayraki is a Greek word that means doing something with your whole soul or love, or when you put something of yourself into your work. I loved that word. When I saw that word, so we were trying to come up with a name for the shop itself. And my daughter, we were on probably for an hour or so going through different words because nothing was feeling right. And she just all of a sudden, Mom, I found it. And when I read the meaning of it, I knew that was it, because not only is that how it is for my business and the essence of what I do, but it's also how I felt and what I did when I was making the changes for my life and the people that I've been able to help as well. Like, why would you change and put all of your heart and soul into something if it wasn't done with love and a purpose? So anyway, this was my website, and for the free recipes, and you guys, I'm not even kidding, like they're so good. Just go click on, there's a drop down menu under the shop button, and it's recipes and guides, and you'll see the free ebook. It's called The Cookie. And then if you would like to try the toothpaste, the 30% off code, you just at checkout, you just enter transformation, and that's it. And then you're also welcome to just go check out my main website. It's jenniferdayley.com, and see, what else I have to offer. I've been kind of redoing it lately, and I'm going to start blogging again, and I'm really excited about that. So anyways, I hope that some of these points that I shared with you today, and how food and the things that you put in and on your body really are connected to your spirituality, and how it not only affects you, but everybody. And I'm really excited that I was able to do this. Thank you.
Jennifer, thank you so very much. Can you, there we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Fascinating. And really such an interesting story. I have been in that place too of, am I going to live or am I going to die? And God help me, I do not know what to do. It's, in a sense, it's a dark night of the soul. I don't know whether you're familiar with that term or not, but it's a surrender. Yes. Into kind of giving up everything that you've been taught that is the right way to do things, and allowing, I use the terms living, breathing energy to flow through you and manifest out into the world the way it directs you, not the way your own mind or your own body or your own emotions are just whipping us all out into chaos. So thank you very much. Really fascinating.
And I love how you said surrender, because that truly is what it is. You have to just, when you allow yourself to surrender, you let go and you gain so much. It's almost indescribable. I mean, you can try to describe it, but it's really indescribable. But if you've experienced, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, for me, it was going from desperation to all of a sudden, when I say, God help me, and I was down on my knees on my living room floor with the tears streaming down my face. And as soon as I was thinking of myself as an agnostic too at the time, just so you know, probably still am intellectually, but because it's an experience of, it suddenly felt as if together we could do it. And I didn't know how, but I shifted into a space of trust. So, yeah.